But what is the source of this?
Wikipedia.
There's no source. Right, and Handel
He was
used it a lot.
like reused the material of it. Yeah.
Of what?
Of the music.
Of music. like Queen of Sheba, like the round of Queen of Sheba.
Yeah. Okay.
A concerto for 3 violins.
Okay. So I'm gonna start.
Okay.
Right. Hello, dear friends, and welcome to our podcast dedicated to sight reading through the lens of the historically informed performance practice. My name is Darina Blogina.
And I'm Sebastien and I.
And today we are back to our title. So we are going to sight read some music and we have a guest. Could you please introduce yourself?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Ivan Podyomov, and I'm the oboe player. I play both modern and historical oboes, and I live in Amsterdam and work in the contemporary modern orchestra, not contemporary but modern orchestra. And sometimes I like to play also Baroque oboe.
And you teach also, right? In Lucerne?
Yes, I do teach in Lucerne at the Hochschule für Musik in Lucerne.
And in which orchestra do you play in Amsterdam?
I play in the Royal Concertgebouw Orchestra since 6 years.
Cool, it's really nice to have you. And could you tell us more? How do you come to historical instruments and how did you start playing historical oboe?
There was always a big love for the old music, for Baroque and classical music. And recently, relatively recently, I decided, okay, why not to learn it actually? Why not to learn the historical instruments to be able to play more this music and to play it more sort of historically informed also. I was always playing this music as much as possible whenever I had recitals on the modern oboe or just simply because it's a fantastic music. You can also play it sort of historically informed on the modern oboe, but there was always missing something, and also the musicians you were playing, I was playing with, were maybe less into this music, and I was at some point I decided, okay, let's go for the real thing and let's learn the oboe.
But so what was missing in the sound of the modern oboe for the Baroque music?
Actually, by that time when I didn't practice Baroque oboe, I was believing that actually this music is just a great music, and what is necessary is just to actually perform it right, to phrase it well, to articulate, to make the ornaments as it should be, to know a little bit about the styles and traditions, and just to play it right. But little by little I started to notice that I was searching some kind of relaxed sound and relaxed way of phrasing the depth in the sound. But somehow the modern instruments are still a little bit built in a way that they have extreme projection built for the huge concert halls, and some things were a little bit difficult. But of course modern oboe technically is much more advanced, and technically many things are much easier, ornaments and passages, and also for the intonation it's much more in tune. But somehow there is, later on when I started to practice Baroque oboe, then I noticed it's also missing, modern oboe is missing kind of charm. But sometimes now and then I still play on the modern oboe some old music, and I think at some point you just forget which instrument you play and you try to make music itself. Also at the times of these composers, it was very often that the composers did not give the clear indication which instrument should play the melody part. It's just some high instrument. And I always try to imagine like what would have been if the composers would have the modern oboe at that times, what what would they have said? They would for sure like it, and they would have for sure used it, in my opinion. So that's why I load it to myself. But of course, now I think that playing historical instruments, that after I started playing historical instruments, I must say there is a certain qualities of the sound which you cannot achieve with modern oboe. And for the most important is that it is a little bit more broad in sound and not so projecting, but at the same time very deep and dark somehow. And you don't make the effort to achieve this kind of sound because it's in the nature of instrument. And having this as the basic element when you start to make music already affects your interpretation also a lot.
Do you find that your Baroque oboe playing has influenced your modern oboe playing, but also for later music, like romantic music, and Concertgebouw is very famous for Mahler and all these things? Do you find that it has changed the way you look at later music as well?
For sure, definitely. And especially in terms of the sound imagination and expression itself also. I noticed that after playing Baroque oboe, I kind of started to search this warmth and volume of the Baroque oboe and this kind of relaxed quality of sound. When you hear it at some instrument, when you experience it already, you search for it and you may actually find it. And I think I play kind of with the sound I like more now than it was 5-6 years ago. Also for the expression, for the phrasing, I think I started to use much less kind of pushing way of phrasing and just more sort of to play with bigger volumes of air probably in general. Because the Baroque oboe in comparison to modern oboe accepts much more air because the bore is much wider than the bore of the modern oboe. last years I play quite a lot with the Netherlands Bach Society, Bach Vereniging, which is based in Netherlands, and it's like dedicated to Bach mostly.
Yes.
But we play also some different music there.
Cool. But so, and you never studied Baroque oboe?
No, never studied.
That's fantastic.
And actually even never had lessons.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So you're completely self-taught?
No, I would not say that, because nowadays we have a lot of exchange. Of course, I have a lot of friends who play Baroque oboe, and of course I was starting to be curious since already many years ago. I have got the instrument. I have had exchanges with some friends who quickly introduced me into reed making, because this is reed making is a so essential part of oboe playing. Is like practicing. So, and of course I started to try already since long time ago actually, and little by little, at the point when I decided, okay, now I must really dive into it and I must start practicing. Of course, I kept having those exchanges, and sometimes I called somebody. I called Marcel Poncel, the amazing, legendary oboe player from Belgium, and he gave me very precious advices on the reeds, how to make the reeds in a way to make it work. Also kept asking quick questions to my friends, to Rodrigo Lopez Paz, the colleague from Bach Vereniging, and he gave me also a couple of quick, precious advices. And Magdalena Karolak, the friend from my studies in Geneva with Maurice Bourque, and from every little side I got some information. And somehow, if you already are educated musicians, somehow experienced musicians, somehow you can already it's enough the information for you just to start practicing. And
but I think it requires a certain flexibility and this openness towards this information that is in front of you, because not everybody is so flexible. And like among classical musicians, they say, oh, but why you take this old instrument? The intonation is not that great. The mechanic doesn't work so well. So it's really like one has to be really curious about how it could have sounded back then, right?
But maybe it's also because I'm the oboist, and already at the modern oboe, the intonation is really not so great.
I know.
And already to play in tune on the modern oboe is a huge effort. So in terms of these kind of technical challenges, I actually don't see it so much difference for like modern oboe is just another oboe of oboe family, but it is not actually much more perfect than the Baroque oboe. It simplifies some note connections for the quick passages, but actually for the intonation or for expression, I think is actually not much easier instrument.
You were also taking harpsichord lessons at one point, or am I wrong?
Yes, you're right. I don't know how you know about this.
Well, no, because I remember my teacher, Menno,
Yes.
was telling me that, he had the student and etc. And then that's when I was leaving. And I think that was you then, or am I wrong?
Well,
Did you take lessons with Menno van Delft?
I didn't take lessons with Menno, but I played the entrance exam to the Amsterdam Conservatory.
Yes. That's what it was.
But I was taking lessons with my friend Olga Pashenko, the
course.
friend from
Yes,
from my
our
school
friend.
also.
Hello, Olga, if you're listening to us.
And well, it started just by accident somehow, because I have instrument at my place. I have the harpsichord. I was at some point when I lived still in Germany, I was looking for the harpsichord for some project, and actually in Lucerne, and they offered me the instrument for the rehearsal, and I had to pay a very high amount just to be able to rehearse. And then I was like, okay, if it's going to be like this all the time in my life, maybe I should search for the harpsichord myself, just maybe in case if something happens that I can quickly rehearse. Yeah.
Nice.
And somehow I realized that they are not so expensive, second-hand harpsichords in Germany. And just I saw one interesting instrument. I jumped on my car. I went to look at it, and actually it had a very beautiful sound. Somehow I liked it, and I just loaded it into the car and I brought it home. It was a bargain instrument. And since then it was standing at home and looking very tempting, and I just started to play a little bit as I could after being, educated in the Moscow Gnesian school, where we all have the...
Fortepiano as a second instrument, yes.
But I had a pretty intense secondary instrument, piano, because I had a fantastic teacher. Somehow I was always motivated about piano, but at some point I just stopped playing it. And then after the harpsichord arrived to my place, then I started to play for curiosity. And then I met Olga in Amsterdam, and we had a nice chat. I told her a little bit about the instrument, and I said, well, maybe I would like once to study a little bit, to study continuo, and just to learn something for myself. And she said, come over and play for me. And I came, and somehow she said, do you want to come back? And we started to practice regularly. And then I was like, okay, let's maybe make the entrance exam to the conservatory. Yeah, but to be honest, I didn't have much time after that actually to really follow seriously the studies. But it was very useful for me just to get acquainted more with the music.
So you finished conservatory as a harpsichord player as well?
No, I did not finish.
Okay.
I didn't finish. That's the story.
Cool. So maybe we are going back to our today's activity. And Sebastien already read everything about the piece that we are going to play today.
I know everything.
Yes, and you just in general know everything. So the piece...
Until Sven corrects me.
Yes. Hello, Sven, if you're listening to us. So today we are playing a sonata, a trio sonata from a collection that is called Tafelmusik and was published in 1733. So what do you know about this collection, Sebastien?
I know that it was a subscription-based publication that Telemann would publish. I don't know how many, I don't know, once every week or once every month. I have no idea. And there were subscribers, and quite in London, also in Paris, and I think he was publishing this in Hamburg. Or am I mistaken?
Probably. I don't know.
Possibly Hamburg.
Great.
And well, basically, I mean, it's a collection of chamber music that has really works for like all combinations of instruments and very weird combinations, like 4 violins without bass, or now we have, well, what else is there actually? 3 violins and bass, or I think horn. Maybe?
Yes, overtures, and then also this quartet that we played with Anat and Amir.
True.
With 2 traversi and recorder. Or a bassoon is also possible.
So it's this flexible sort of...
Very flexible.
You buy the collection, you can play it on different things, you play it at home.
Yes.
The tafel refers to the table.
Yeah, but also refers to this Renaissance idea of a concert music making, where people were sitting around the table and reading from the part books.
After dinner, maybe just to hang
again,
out.
Food and music. What can be better? Anyways, and also we read that Handel was kind of stealing a little bit from this collection.
Yeah.
And apparently there are 18 different citations from this collection that Handel used in his works.
Right. I mean, a famous one is the arrival of the Queen of Sheba. It's an oboe excerpt, really, no? No, it's not. Is it?
I'm not sure.
Okay, I don't know, whatever. Is also from, is taken partly from Tafelmusik.
Yes, and also among the subscribers, there were people like Michel Blavet, who was a flute player, and also Quantz.
Makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense. Totally. And today we are going to play a sonata for traverso, oboe, and basso continuo in E minor, with a very sweet middle part that is in E major.
Wow.
Yeah.
Have you ever played this piece?
I never played this piece, and I think I even never heard this piece.
Me neither, actually.
So it will be a real sight reading.
Nice.
I think I played this piece many, many years ago in Moscow for one project. I think it was with Philippe.
Who's Philippe?
Philippe Nodel. It's a teacher from Moscow Conservatory, and he teaches Baroque oboe. Yeah.
It's one of the pioneers of, actually the pioneer of Baroque oboe in Russia.
Yes.
Yes, the
Really.
person who started to play and to teach this instrument first in Russia, maybe around 20 years ago.
Yes,
Yeah.
already, because the faculty of contemporary and early music exists for already 20 years. I think they had their more.
Yeah,
right?
maybe even more.
Yeah, they had their jubileum kind of.
Very
yes.
nice.
Yes, great. So this sonata has 4 movements, and it's really nice because it's not really a tempo indication, but just kind of a mood, affettuoso, allegro,
Wow.
then dolce, the sweet
Vibes.
one, in E major, let's see, and vivace.
It looks very Telemann-y.
Yes. So, what do you have? You have some kind of a prejudice about Telemann. Tell us more
I
about
don't
that.
have a prejudice about Telemann. I'm just not a big fan.
And
But
why is that so?
That's not. It's. I feel like every time you say that, someone says, "Oh, but he wrote so much, and so not everything can be great." Well, it's just not a style that I'm necessarily for. And sometimes when people bring me a Telemann piece, I go, so that's it. It's just my personal feeling.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he was commercially very successful, and that's why maybe it was one of the sources of his motivation to go on, with composing. But yeah, that's true that not all the pieces are.
Yeah, and I don't
extremely-
expect anyone's every piece to be
But
great.
the other day we were actually talking about art and content. And like I think in this case, like sometimes it can be a combination of both,
yes.
which is actually
Which is-
successful. It
Well,
worked out
that's the
very
ideal,
well.
no? To have both art and content.
Yes.
I feel like Telemann has a lot of art, but sometimes the content is not always there for me.
It's kind of overtaking.
But yeah, the art is definitely there. He masters composition very well, I think.
Yes. I don't know. Do you see anything from the score? Because we need to play very soon.
We gotta play.
Yeah.
We have to steal the room, actually.
We have to
before
yes,
someone else does,
yes.
actually.
So
I see this, and if you didn't show me the who wrote it, I would know, because the bass line is like Telemann, very
Yes.
Telemann.
yes.
So, you know.
Maybe we can record also the outro, like just to say like thank you very much, blah blah blah. And
Or if you have final words, if you would like to say something.
Yes.
What are your final words?
Bless you, everybody.
Wow.
well, thank you very much.
Thank you for
And
being here.
It was great.
Thank you, my friends. As a side ring, I think it's a nice experience. We should do more things like this.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yes.
Especially all together, I think.
Yes, it's a lost art.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, thank you and see you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.